All right. Look, it's about to get real
Let's
now.
do it. All right, let's do it.
All right. So, hey, everybody. Me and Ashley, we were just chatting before it started, like how we
Yes,
always do. But now we're about to get
yes.
professional. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank y'all for joining. If you're joining, it
Mm-hmm.
means that you're here for Pillow Talk. And before I
Yes.
do my whole little intro, let me tell y'all what made me cook this idea up, because as some of you may or may not know, I am a bedroom candy consultant. And so when I was thinking of what I wanted to do and what I wanted to name it, I was like, why not Pillow Talk? Because the statistics say that Pillow Talk is supposed to be some of the most honest, intimate, and endearing conversation that you have with your partner. So to me, it was a no-brainer to have
Absolutely.
these honest, intimate conversations with the people who I found interesting and call it Pillow Talk. So that's kind of picking my brain a little bit to get y'all in on why I wanted to name it. But I have my special guest, my first ever guest. She doing my pilot for me. And of course, before I kick it off to her, I want to introduce her correctly. So she is the, well, first of all, she's a mommypreneur. So let's just get that out the
Yes.
way. She is a boss with babies. She is the project manager of Good Vibes Sip and Paint Venue right here in Columbia, South Carolina. She is the founder, director, and CEO of Life After Birth, the owner and CEO of ALR Pressure Washing. And of course, this is something that I actually found out today that I didn't even know, because this lady wears so many hats, y'all. She is the assistant director of the Black Expo. Y'all, we got Ashlee Gigi
Yes.
White in the
Woo!
building.
Thank you.
Woo, drum
Gosh.
roll. So Ashlee,
Wow.
please introduce yourself to the people.
I am Ashley Gigi White, lovingly known as Gigi to all of my friends and family. I'm happy to be here. I'm just so excited to hear some of these questions and, learn some new stuff about myself, maybe, possibly.
So, I before we even get into it, I just want to let them know why I selected you, how we met, and then we'll move on, of course, to getting to know you. So, first and foremost, let me thank you for allowing me this opportunity to kind of tap into your life and get to know you
Yeah.
more. For people who may not know, I literally met you working. So we both were
Yes.
working. We were at Good
Hmm.
Vibes. I was doing a vendor opportunity there for bedroom candy, and you, of course, were doing your thing with hosting the event. And I just
Yes.
noticed how we kind of connected and kept like tip tapping, each other, like talking and small chatting. It was
Yeah.
like, wow, I feel like I know her. Like I feel like she's my
Yes.
homegirl already.
Yep.
And
That's my
so
girl.
fast forward to a couple of months later, I was hosting my own event at the same venue, but I was like, I need her. Because at first I was going to host it, but I was like, no, I need her. I feel like she would be very dope and it would help me, relieve the pressure off of me of
Right.
having to host and do everything. And I remember scrambling, trying to find your info because I didn't know your last name. I found you,
Yes.
we tapped in, we connected, you hosted, you were amazing. So I wanted to double back
Yeah.
because I was like, that was cool, but I didn't get to know her because you were working, and I was working. It was my event, so we both were
Right.
busy. And so I doubled back again, and I wanted you to be a part of my virtual event, which was the mommypreneur event that we had online.
Yes.
Like I said, the bosses with baby. It was you and two other individuals. And I mean, when I say that your energy, your spirit, everything kind of resonated, people were calling me after the call, like, who was that? Because I had a lot of family on the call. They were like, who is that? And I was
Yeah.
like, see, I need to know more, because you left people wanting to
Right.
know more just by your
Oh,
response. So just letting the people know how we connected and what made me reach back out again and say,
wow.
man, not only are you a dope person, but I feel like you also have a dope story. So I just want to kick it
Yeah.
off like that. So, okay, I
Hmm.
love to hear the now, but see me, when I put my head on, my mental health professional head, I also want to hear where you were, before where you are now. So can
Right.
you give us a background,
Yeah.
like where did you grow up?
Cool. So I grew up between Philadelphia, Ohio, and North Carolina. My summer grounds at graduating was in North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina. Um, that's where I really got the spirit to be like, I ain't never coming back. Because my grandfather, I was raised by my grandfather, and he lived in Leland, North Carolina. So I went to high school there, and North Brunswick was good. And then as I got older, he wanted me to go inland to school,
Mm.
and I got to see how other kids were being raised and how they had more resources and opportunities. It was more out there than what we were actually privy to knowing.
Right.
And it really changed my life. So fast forward, went to UNC Wilmington, and spent some time at Coastal Carolina and Myrtle Beach.
Oh,
And
well, we're gonna get into all that. We're gonna get into
yeah,
all that.
fell in love,
So
fell in love,
growing
and
up,
now I'm
did you
here.
have both mom and dad in the home initially? Did you have both
Oh
your
no,
parents?
no, no.
Okay, well, who were you
I
raised
never
with?
my grandfather and my mother. So my mother, for a while, I was raised by her, and then between military background and things of that nature, me getting older, I ended up living with my grandfather, who was already retired. He had his own businesses, so he was just
Okay.
working his businesses with his retiree, and he raised me from middle school through high school into college. So that's who I
How
was
was
raised
that
by.
experience, like growing up and being raised by a male
Yeah,
versus a
it
female?
it was different. I stand 10 toes down by they don't know everything and they don't understand
Yeah.
a girl growing up. However, he taught me so much, like me being
Right.
able to take care of myself. A woman should always be well dressed or smell good, or keeping myself up and having like a
Mm-hmm.
proper upbringing. He was adamant about that, keeping me in the church, going to church, um, keeping me around like older women that like kind of I used to say they used to probably take pity on me because I was raised by my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
But he kept me around really great people that had stuff going for themselves, things of that nature, and I was able to learn from them from a certain extent. But being raised by him, was great. Like once I turned 18 and was graduating, he was like, "All right, what you gonna do? Barbecue and mildew." Like it was
Any
different.
siblings? Any siblings in the home, or just you?
No, it was just me with my grandfather. However, I do have six brothers and two sisters. Yeah.
So where are you in the birth order with all of the siblings?
I am the oldest on my mom's side, and I'm the middle on my dad's side. Yeah,
Okay.
crazy.
Um, so I noticed that you said that after you turned 18, but let's kind of go back. How was your high school experience before 18 and college? How was that for you?
For me, it was great. So like, hey, like I really enjoyed high school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I actually started a dance team at my high
See, it's
school because we
giving
didn't have
popular
one.
girl.
I was not.
Oh,
I
you
was not.
wasn't?
I
Oh,
was not.
wow. Wow.
I actually like keep in mind. I told you I had transition. So I went from
Okay.
one city, you understand,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
a whole nother
Yeah. So
local
you kind of had to
town
make
that's
yourself.
country.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was
Mm-hmm.
that part wasn't easy.
Right. Right. I get
I
it.
was already shapely. I was a fairly cute girl,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it wasn't like they just say, "Hey, girl, welcome." No, it wasn't none of that. I kind of
Oh,
just
I get it.
had, yeah, I kind of just had to like make myself known, like I'm not to play with. But I
Mm-hmm.
definitely wasn't the popular girl. Like there were
Okay.
popular girls, but I definitely wasn't her. However, love dance. That was my first passion. They didn't have a dance team. And of course, because I wasn't a popular girl, I wasn't on the cheerleading squad or even attempted to do the cheerleading squad. So I actually went to one of my teachers like the middle of the semester and was like, "Hey, would you be open to, being the coach or, just watching us if we started a dance team?" And she said, "Actually, that's a really good idea." And, I created a dance team for the high school. And that was that. But high school wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad. It
Okay.
wasn't like traumatic.
Well, good. At 18, though, when your granddad did approach you with the question, what do you want to do?
That's
What
when
was your
shit got
response?
traumatic. That's when it got traumatic. That's when that's when life got real. Yeah, for sure. Um, I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Right.
I knew that I couldn't stay home. So I was aware that it was like, okay, either you're going to go to school or you're going to get a trade or you're going to go to work. Like something had to take place. He also believed in like, me financially knowing what I'm supposed to be doing with myself and not depending on him or anybody else for that matter. Whatever his reasons for doing that, is when shit got real for me. Like I had to realize that like, bills are gonna come. I have to be able to take care of myself. I need to be able to pay for things. And that wasn't that great when you're enrolling in school and you don't have scholarships, if you don't have certain things going for you. It will cause you to start looking other ways. Like I was working at clubs, I was working at bars, I was a waitress at Hooters. It was a lot happening when it was time to like get out of the mess. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to really like navigate some things. I think I probably saw some stuff that I shouldn't have saw. But now in hindsight 2020, like I'm glad that I saw it because now I think I have a knack for people in a whole different manner. So although it was traumatic, it actually now I can say that like I'm glad that I was able to grow and go through that at that time.
And so you did say you went to
18
college.
20. Yes.
You went to college. What college did you attend?
UNC Wilmington.
How was that?
Wilmington,
How was
North
that
Carolina.
freshman year for you? That freshman experience?
We got to talk about that.
What was your mindset? Because I know, do you feel like you were prepared for college? Because I know many of us,
No.
thrown
I
into an experience.
I definitely was not prepared for it. It's so crazy because childhood best friend who's in my house right now, like we went through that together. If it wasn't for her, I probably would have either failed or dropped out or just was like, nah, I'm not going to do it. But because both of us were kind of technically cut from the same cloth and both pushed out of this the same way, we felt like we had to figure it out together. So we naturally did it together. But it is scary. You know what I mean? Like, you're excited, you have this new lease on life because now you have to figure it out. There is things out there, but we don't know that these resources are for us, so we're not utilizing them, we're not participating in it, we're deciding to try to get our little money back, you know what I mean, whenever. But it didn't work out that way for me. I felt like it was get to class, do what I needed to do, how I'm gonna get this money up, like $25,000, like I ain't never seen $2,500. What I'm gonna get? You know what I
mean? Yeah. Oh yeah. Other than the fact of in an experience and feeling like you don't really know what you're doing, what else about college you feel like was traumatic for you? Because I know we all have those stories and those things, but
yeah, I felt a lot of pressures. I never had been like a drinker or a smoker or sexually active. It was a lot of that taking place, and for some it was easier than for others. For me, it wasn't as easy. I felt like I could not relate to some of my professors. I didn't feel like child.
I know it's so much. I don't think people understand that it's not as easy as just go to college and do it. It's so many other factors that you have in place.
Like the time, I don't think it's so crazy because I just had this conversation because my oldest is actually she got accepted to Charleston Southern, and we were talking about how that's it's a lifestyle change in itself. And mentally it could take a toll on you. Like I think that if we're being real, when it comes to us as Black girls, you know what I'm saying? There's so many pressures and scrutiny just on the idea of, trying to figure out who the hell we are in the midst of being in chokeholds with stuff that are happening on campus by itself. And then when you take that out of it, if you keep that in the equation with stuff that you might be having going on at home, knowing you can't go back home, I don't know. That affects me. Just saying that out loud. Like I could not go back home.
And I was going to ask you that. You said that I knew that I could not stay at home. Why was that?
Right. Because my grandfather was getting older. Not that he felt like I was a burden or anything, but I just felt like it wasn't my place to go back home. You know what I'm saying? Like it was
Okay.
like it was time for me to just get out there and do it. Like
So
I
was that
knew
another added pressure in school? Like I have nowhere to go.
it was no other way. Yeah. So that's how that came into play. So like if we backtrack to grandfather didn't have a problem with me coming home,
Okay.
but it was very clear
Yeah.
that you are becoming an adult.
Mm-hmm.
He'll help you get this apartment, which he did. He helped me get an apartment. Um, so I stayed in the apartment because staying at campus was just it was crazy. Like it,
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's a whole different thing. So I ended up being able to find roommates, so I didn't have to stay on campus, so I could have a little less of a break with, my tuition and fees and stuff like that. But it didn't change the fact that he wasn't paying for all of that stuff. Feel me?
Right.
So then that's when I was like, I need fast money, Waffle House, Hooters. I
Mm-hmm.
need fast money to pay for these things, but I also still want to have this life with my friends, with the school, attending different things. It was a lot. Like I was truly an adult or a woman at that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a lot. But I knew for a fact that I couldn't fail because I didn't have my mom. I didn't have a dad. It was just my
Mm-hmm.
granddad, and I knew that he was already up in age. Like I need to make money to take care of him. Like it's a lot to that.
Oh yeah. Around that
That's a whole
time
nother.
though, I know you said that you have your childhood best friend who you're still friends with to this day, but around that time, what other
Mm-hmm.
female did you have that you can kind of vent to and you had no one?
No one. No one. And like I have a really good friend, Tamika Newsom, who is now a coach. She's a track coach for UNC Wilmington.
Oh wow.
Um, now who we met in my sophomore year, and yeah, it was just us. Like all the crazy part is, I think they have a word for like trauma buddies
Yeah.
or something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trauma bonds, I think,
Mm-hmm.
was part of it.
Yeah.
So I'm leaning on you, but you leaning on me, and she leaning on you, and we leaning
Mm-hmm.
on each other because we all were going through the same thing. There wasn't
Yeah.
anybody or mentors at that time that even cared to understand that because either they had like a jealousy mechanism. I actually had one lady that literally would not mentor me just because she felt like her husband may have had an attraction to me.
And this was in college?
Yeah, and this was in college.
What would give her that
Yeah.
notion? Like what? I mean, did he say something to you about the weight
Because
one day?
at that time, yeah, they always
Okay.
are. It was in that time, and we're talking about 2003, 4, 5,
Mm-hmm.
6. You know what I'm saying? So, like in that time for me, I just can't recall when you saying it now. I can't recall any women that was of a support. It wasn't until I got to my senior year and my boyfriend at the time, his mom became that. She's my shiro to this day.
And
Like
see,
she,
I want to tap into that specifically because I was actually going to ask you in college, since you were going through that difficult time, what did your dating life look like? I actually was going to lean into that. You suffer from dry hands or even dry feet? Well, you may want this scrub. Velvet is our hard-working sugar scrub that thoroughly cleanses and gently exfoliates your skin, leaving your skin soft, smooth, and extremely touchable. It's also great for all skin types. This gentle yet powerful scrub is enriched with vitamin E, which leaves the skin feeling soft and supple. Its pure sugar is blended with the world's finest oils and shea butter, which is great for conditioning and moisturizing the skin. The gentle yet effective exfoliation eliminates dead skin cells and provides you with the sweetest bath experience ever. Velvet has 2 available scents, Timeless Grace and Island Joy. Timeless Grace is the scent previewed in the video. Once you try Velvet, you'll change your mind about scrubs.
so much for watching. Now back to the content.
See, I didn't. Okay, so my dad is a whole different story. I had never, I didn't know who my dad was until I was about 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know who he was. One day, um, it's so funny because I tell this story to anybody. But I was at school and it was like some kind of dads and donuts, or something that was happening at school at
And
some
this
point in
was
time.
this was at college, or this was way back, way back?
Way back when.
Okay, okay.
So I found my dad when I was 14, or
Okay.
13, 14, something like that. Found him, didn't see him again until I was 19. He passed away when I was 20.
Okay.
So like my dad I don't have that. I know who he is and stuff because I found him and stuff like that, but he passed away before we can actually have a great,
Connect.
you know what I mean, connection,
Mm-hmm.
relationship. Although when we met, we did have a great relationship and connection and everything else. But again, people have their lives, stuff like that. So
what about
there's
dating
never
in college? What did that look like for you? Was it easy to date with all of this other stuff that you had going on? Was it hard to date? And we know how college was with the boys. Like, what was your experience? Because I noticed that you said you had a boyfriend. So was that
I never
freshman
had
year?
no, I didn't have a boyfriend until about my sophomore year.
Okay.
Yeah, freshman year is kind of a blur.
I think it was like that for all of us. I'm telling
Freshman
you.
year, I ain't even gonna lie to you. Freshman year was kind of a blur.
All we remember is the weight that we gained, but yeah.
Yeah, weight gain and eating out constantly. Chili's was our spot, you know. But sophomore year, it was time to get our shit together. Like I really had to like figure out what I was gonna do and have a direction where I wanted to go, that type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when it started getting, I
Okay.
kind of like, I kind of like him. I'm gonna give it to him.
And so did you keep him? Because I noticed when we were talking before, you said senior year. So did you keep him from sophomore all the way to senior year? Okay. What about him attracted you? Because you're
Um,
young. Like, what was the attraction? Was it
he
just
was
how he
first of all,
looked? Was it?
first first of all, everything about him. That was my first love, like my first love. Like I had a high school sweetheart, whatever case may be, like puppy love and everything else, and I still got mad love for him. But my first love, like I thought that we was gonna be married forever, everything else. So our relationship was really, really good. He's super smart, brilliant. It was everything. He was darkness, the whole nine. So, and then his mom is just like first of all, she has a doctorate. She's a professor and stuff. So that's when I said the mentorship came into equation and everything else. But it wasn't until like that senior year where she was like, "This is what needs to be done." You know what I mean? Like she's like, "All right, now what are you doing?"
Yeah, yeah.
And she became like that mentor and gave me that empowerment. Like,
yeah, like getting you back on, focus.
you
Let's
don't have
get
to be
this.
that girl.
Yeah,
You don't have to just because. Yeah, people don't understand, and I really feel like this. I feel like this now. I hate to say this. This might be taboo, but you don't necessarily need college to be great.
oh yeah, more than true.
You don't need college to do all those things. I appreciate the college experience, but she was one of those ones that's like, okay, that you had to go through this because that's the only option you felt like you had. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And do you feel like
I
back
know
then
some
we
girls that
thought
literally left.
that it was like almost like college or army? You remember how like you felt like you didn't have like any other outlets?
Yeah,
like, nobody
I was
told
just
you
about to
about.
say. That's what I was about to say. I was about to tell you. Like I had one of my classmates. She literally left college to go into the military. Just because she was tired of paying it. Like she had some, and don't get me started on like the credit card debt that I had in college. Like I opened up like 4 credit cards freshman year and had so much debt come senior. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yep.
So why did you all break up?
Girl, cause
what happened?
I can't even explain it. Like lived together and everything. Like, I don't know. I just think that he I felt like he was cheating. Like, I could never prove it, and he made me feel like a maniac because I could never prove it.
Mm.
So like, he was so good to me though, but I knew that it wasn't right. Once he was out of school and he's just doing his thing. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're out of college. You graduate college.
This is
it's
so
great.
crazy. This is stuff I haven't thought about in like centuries.
Oh yeah, we getting into some things, okay?
Oh my
so
God. Whoever
so
watches this, listen, I'm happily married. I love my husband. Ricky
yeah, we
White, we
we
have
we gonna
kids
put that
together.
disclaimer in there.
We're gonna
Okay,
get it. Put it,
we're gonna
please.
get to
'Cause
husband too, though. But we gotta
yeah, it's traumatic, child. That was a traumatic experience, baby. Now we up at when I was like what, 21,
because and the reason why I
21.
really do it play by play is because they think, okay, you graduated, great, go get your money, you're good. But it is not like
Nah,
that.
hell
Like
nah. No,
realistically,
no,
it
no,
doesn't happen
no.
like that. So
Absolutely
you
not.
graduate college, and where are you now in life? Like what
Working
is
at
your mind?
Radio Shack. I was an assistant manager for Sterling Jewelers, which is like K Jewelers and Jarrett's. So I
Mm-hmm.
had a really good position. Um, making at 20 years old, I was making about 17 to $18 an hour, which is huge in that
Oh
time.
yeah.
So I thought I was doing something when I had left school, because I actually started while I was in school, which
Yeah.
was a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful thing. And I just stayed consistent on it. But once we had graduated and everything, they had gave us a boost because we had already been there for about 3 years at that time. So I was working for Radio Shack as an assistant manager, and I was working for K Jewelers and had no idea what I wanted to do in
So how did
business.
that make you feel? You're sitting on a degree and you still are like, dang, I don't really know what I want, like what career field I want to be in. What did that make you feel like? Because
Yeah,
at
I
this
did.
point, you're supposed to be the adult that
Failure,
knows it all, right? That has it all figured out.
failure, hmm
Yeah.
failure. But it was also a point in time, like what was that, like 2009, 2008, 2009, where like position thinking that I was doing well for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like now I have
Mhm.
been on my own. I've been paying my own bills. I've been living this life. Like I haven't needed anybody to do it.
Right.
Um, it was a lot. It was like, okay, well, I'm doing all right for myself. I'm flashing this degree. They know that these are local people. They know who I am. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So I'm thinking I'm doing all right for myself. Like I really didn't know how much time I was wasting. That makes any sense.
Yeah.
I didn't know how much time I was wasting on not utilizing like what I had already learned. And the other part of that was that shit was evolving too. So everything that I had learned, it's like, nigga, you gotta go back
Change.
to school again.
Yep, change. And change is so inevitable because we can't stop it. And then we hate it because we're like, no, wait, I'm an expert. And then the next day you literally cannot be the expert. You're actually getting trained.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
that's fear, that's anxiety, right?
yeah. It
Was your
gave me a
mom in
lot
your
of
life
anxiety.
around this time as an adult? Were you having a connection with mom, talking to her consistently?
No, not at that time.
Okay.
No,
So
not
when
at
did you
that
meet your
time.
husband? What age?
Oh, I say I was 25.
Okay. How
25.
did you
Yeah,
meet?
it was my 25th birthday.
Oh,
Well, I
wow.
decided to put that degree to work, and I
Okay.
actually got an HR position with the loss prevention division at the time with Radio Shack. And so
Okay.
I was moving to Florida. I was supposed to be moving to Florida um, for that job, and I was here in Columbia, and they was like, "I'm gonna take you out. We're gonna go do a going away party for you, or whatever. We're gonna just take you out." And we went out, and we went to Greens here in Columbia, the
Oh
old head
yeah.
spot. I like old school spots. Yes, I
hmm
like Greens. But I met him at Greens. We were the youngest people in there.
I bet so.
But We were at Greens, and I was with a couple of my friends and stuff, and we were dancing, and like the guys in there, "I'm gonna buy you a drink, I'm gonna buy you a drink, can I buy you a drink?"
Mm-hmm.
And he just walked past me like, "She ain't nobody," and I was like, "Ooh, I like that, I like that." So, and ever since then, yeah, ever
So
since
how
then,
did if he walked by you,
like we
if
talked
he
for a little
walked by
bit.
you like, and I think it's a little lag in the video, but if he did walk by you like
Yeah,
doing that, how did y'all connect then? Did you say something to him? Did you shoot your shot? Did he double back? Like what? How did you guys actually connect?
I was like, now he walked past like he don't want to buy me a drink. And the crazy part is, I don't even drink. So the drinks that were being bought, I was just giving to the girl.
Right.
Because I don't even drink. But it was the offense,
like I know you see me.
right. So we were dancing or whatever. I was dancing on the dance floor, and he walked past again. And I don't know if I said something, it got his attention, what I said. And we just talked. It seemed that night we talked about everything under the sun, my stomping grounds in North Carolina and his stomping grounds in North Carolina. And he's from Connecticut. And it was as if the same thing with me and you. It was as if I just known him my entire life. Like, it was just like that. But I knew that I was moving, so I didn't think that it was going to go anywhere because I knew that I was leaving.
And why? What happened?
Yeah,
Did you
like at
end
the
up
end of that night,
moving? Because I
no.
know you were
So
having a right.
he said something to me. He was like, dang, I hate that you're leaving or something, but let me get your number and maybe I can come and see you or visit you. And I was like, okay, cool. But that night I knew he was gonna be my husband.
I
was
hear
like,
that a lot.
listen,
So I need to know, how did you know that? Because I've heard that before. So how did you know that immediately?
It was just, I knew it immediately. Like, we were dancing, we enjoyed the night, and we were sitting down at one of the tables, and I just looked at him and like his laugh, and I was just like, I'm forever right here. Like, this is crazy. Like, this is no way. Like, that's how I felt. Like, I just knew. Like, I could sense it, his smell, everything about him that night was like, this is supposed to be my mate. This is supposed to be my friend. Like, this is supposed to be my husband. So, like, fast forward, like, we've been talking on the phone and stuff, and everything else. And I was in Atlanta for a little bit. Mom called me, and she was like, I don't feel comfortable with you going all the way to Florida.
And so who called you?
My mom.
Okay.
So my mother, she knew that I was moving to Florida, and she called me with reservations about me moving to Florida because I didn't know anybody there. I was just going there to put my degree to work.
Right.
That's why I was going there. And she called and she said, it just doesn't sit well in my spirit. I'm worried about that. See if you can reconsider it or what you can do. And I was like, ugh. Kind of like, I mean, I had already put a deposit down and everything. So it's like, Patrice, I had a deposit on my apartment. I was leaving.
Yeah, you had a going away party.
I was, yeah, like I was supposed to be leaving. And now you calling me like, I don't feel comfortable. Well, my friend at the time that was here, she said the same thing. And I'm a true believer in, I've always said this, follow your first gut at all times. Follow your first intuition at all times. Yeah. So for her to say it and she not know that I had a conversation with my mom at the time about it, it kind of put something in me like, I'm supposed to be doing this? Like, maybe I shouldn't be going. Maybe I can find a position here because I'm right here in Columbia.
Right.
And then he called my now husband, the friend at the time, called and he was like, hey, you going to, he was like, you're going to Orlando, correct? And I was like, yeah, that's correct. And he was like, well, I'm trying to find flights there, but I can't find any that make sense or whatever. And I was like, oh, well, I'm here in Columbia. What? You live here now? Is that it? Might as well. His voice said like, oh, like what? And at that time, I was like, well, let me see what I can do. And sure enough, I called and they were like, take the position here.
So he was looking for flights to come see you. He was looking up flights to come to
Yes,
Florida.
but he thought that I was already in Florida.
Right.
But at this time, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, let me sit tight for a second, get my life together, and figure out if this is the best thing. Because I mean, we were talking, but he didn't know like my whereabouts and like that.
Right.
So after
Wow.
that call with him saying that, I was like, no need to book the flight. Don't book the flight. Please don't book a flight. You know,
Please.
he all the way in Florida. I'm up here in
Right.
Columbia, 20 minutes from him. That's terrible. So yeah, like we met later on that night and we were talking about it, and he was like, well, I'm willing to make this work. If you're willing to make this work, and
So
we've been
that
together
you
ever
met him
since.
at 25, right? And
Mhm.
so what age did you guys actually sit down and like make it official and actually know that this is we locked in? Like, you know, what age was that? Was that
25.
25? Like 25? I knew that was my husband. I would
I knew it was my. Well, we were together, so he didn't propose until 2014.
Okay. And how
Yeah,
old
so
were
we
you
were
at that time?
29, 28, 29,
Okay.
something like that.
At this
Because
time,
we're
had y'all had
37 now.
children yet or no?
No,
No. Okay.
child, no, I ain't want no
So
kids. Mm-mm.
so from 25 to age 28, 29, I want to tap into, now we're going to get into a little pillow talk now with you and him. So before you met your
Okay,
husband, did you know your love language? Did you know how you like to be loved?
no, it was my husband that implemented that. Because remember, my first love, and I had a
Was back in
boyfriend after
college.
my first love too. I had it was a whole thing after
And yeah,
that
that's
too.
that young love.
But
So you know.
no, because it was different.
Most
Hump
definitely.
sex, yeah, humping sex.
Yeah,
Love making is
yeah.
completely different. It's a whole different
Oh yeah.
situation. Yeah. So no, I didn't know. I didn't know prior to him, prior to us being intimate, and me actually realizing what I like and dislike and all of that. Yeah.
And not even, let's
Which
take
is
away the
another reason
sex.
why I knew he was my soulmate.
Let's talk about the sex part first. And even how did you, like, let me back all the way up before you met any men in your life. How did you know what love was? Like, how did you know when you'll be able to identify it? Who taught you, like, this is what it feels like? Did you ever have, and people always think, like, you need to have that birds and the bees talk, but what about that love talk, too, with your children and with your teenagers? Like, did anybody sit down and tell you what it felt like to be in love? No.
Mm-mm. No,
And so when I say love
no.
language, how did your husband teach you, like, how you like to feel like you're in love? Like, because I know you said he taught you, of course, of the difference between having sex and making love. But as far as like, do you like your love affirmed to you? Do you like constantly to hear that you're loved? Do you like
So,
acts?
so I, okay. So if we go to rewind,
Okay.
I taught myself what I love.
Okay.
Like I've always been proactive versus reactive when it comes to affirming myself.
Okay.
So like even in school or even in middle school and high school, like crushes, things of that nature, receiving things, stuff like that. I grew accustomed to determining how to make myself happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the things that makes me who I am. Like people will always wonder, with your story, why are you so bubbly all the time? Like, why are you not angry?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's because like I literally put it into myself like that. So fast forwarding to even in school, in college, you know, receiving flowers and gifts and everything
Mm-hmm.
else, and being showered and doing trips and all that stuff, that shit was bonus because I could do it for myself. You know what I mean? Like I
Mm-hmm.
like to get my feet done. You know?
Yes.
Like I
Yeah.
like to tell myself I'm beautiful. Like I
Mm-hmm.
like to catch myself in the mirror and be like, "Oh, you a bad bitch today." You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that had always been me. So like I didn't have to have it taught. I think because it wasn't taught to me is why I had to love myself the most. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't
Oh yeah.
have it um from either one of those perspectives. So like me affirming like knowing what I liked, like I like compliments. I like to have intellectual conversations. Those are my love languages. I already knew that about myself. You see what I'm saying? But when it came to chemistry or, different like boundaries and stuff like that, it wasn't until I met my husband when I realized, affirming boundaries, understanding like no, it's just a straight sentence. Like no,
Right.
with even simple stuff like cooking or cleaning or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just different things in regards to love languages and affirmations. I think that I already had that down pat at that point because I've always believed in doing it for myself.
Now fast forward to after you all are married and you start having children. How many children do you have today and what are their ages?
Oh Lord. So my husband has an 18-year-old and a 15-year-old, and he and I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. So we total have 4 children. And again, I've been in my 18-year-old and 15-year-old's lives practically all of their lives since Amir was 2 and Bazar was 4.
So did your husband have the children before he met you?
Yeah.
Did he already have kids?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so before I get to your children,
so when I met him, he had a 1-year-old.
How was that before you even had your own children? Was it easy? Was it difficult?
I would say it was moderate.
Look, like girl, we in a good place, girl.
I can't say it definitely wasn't easy. Right. It wasn't easy. It wasn't extremely difficult either. I would just say moderate, politically correct. But no, I never had the desire to. Now, I mean, some people base it off of, what my background is and not having the full support of a mom and things of that nature, a parent. But I had zero desire to be a parent myself, a mom myself. So I was fine that he already had children because I was like, okay, well, that takes more pressure off of me to have children.
Yeah.
So like meeting them, they're just beautiful kids. You know what I mean? Like here it is, this precious little that's inquiring, and I love them even more because, like he took on his oldest that's not biologically his, but that's his child. So that made me love him even more.
Right.
And then his son, he loves his son to pieces. This is only those things was just great. Like I was just like, okay, well, I'm in this for the long haul because I love you and I love them and it's what it is, Yeah.
So when you started raising your children, I know we all say that, girl. And then we end up having. But when you started to raise your own children, because I just noticed this, not even with just me, but just talk to a lot of females who have similar backgrounds as me and you. What do you notice that you do differently with your children that was not done with you in terms of their childhood and the way that you parent?
Everything, almost to a fault. I was just actually having this reflective moment the other day. So like I didn't have birthdays.
Yeah.
Or like birthday parties, things of that nature. So I'm adamant about the girls having birthday parties and stuff like that. And then I realized with my 3-year-old's birthday, I'm like, Ezra don't even care about none of this. Like this must be something that like, you know what I mean, has been instilled in me that I was just like projecting because I want to make sure that my girls have the best childhoods ever where they're well-rounded and balanced young ladies and they come up and they have everything and they thrive and they're successful. But I realized I did it out the mud and I'm happy and successful. So I don't have to put those type of pressures on them in that nature. So that was just an aha moment recently. Where I realized that like I'm doing my best to give them the ultimate life, but I'm realizing that some of those things don't even matter to them because they do have a great life. So, yeah.
And I did hear something that because I love Ricky Smiley. Shout out to you, Ricky Smiley, if you watching this. But I love when he said that a lot of us we spend too much time giving our kids what we didn't have versus what we had, and that really resonated with me because we do try to give them what we didn't have, but they need a little bit of what we had too. Because see, we are literally rolled us
Straight
on the
up.
concrete, right? Like we are beasts because we
Yep.
had to. So you need to give them a little bit of that
Yeah.
and a little bit of what we didn't have so that they can also know what to do when they don't got it, you know, because I hear
Absolutely.
all of the things that you have persevered and you build that resiliency though from you not having
Yeah.
it and not having anybody to vent on.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think that like it's a testament in itself that my girls are growing up with both parents in the household.
Mm-hmm.
That by itself is enough.
Yeah.
Like they don't want for nothing. You know, they already have a plan. They have a savings account set up for them. They already have insurance policies. Things that actually make a difference, they have, and those things that I didn't have. But when it comes to the stuff, you know, material things and stuff like that, they could care less. Like, you know, I truly believe that. But I do make them fight for everything that they want. So if they have a
Yeah.
desire for something, they have to get it out the mud the same way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they can
Mm-hmm.
understand what it's like to have those things. Everything can't be spoon fed to them. But like it's just an honor to be able to be a mom. Like I just think that it's the wildest thing that I even have children because for so
Right.
long I was like, nah, I'm
Same.
good. No, thank you. And now I have two, and I'm like, wow, like it's just so crazy. It really is.
Yeah, and it just makes us glow because we can talk about our kids all day. We were the same girl that's
Yes.
like, I'm good, I don't want to have no kids. But I did notice like when you have more than one, because I was going to ask you that. How did you feel when you had? It's something about the second. Now the first one, I always tell people, the first one is like that trial. Like you don't know what you're doing.
It's the
You
decoy.
try like they going
It's
through
the
it with you,
decoy.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you
Yep.
get to that second one, you know, it's like that commercial. Remember the girl was like, no, don't touch my son. And she had the wipes and everything. But the second one, she was like, she just gave him, hold him, honey. She was like, I'm tired, you know. So how was it with your second one? How different did you notice as far as your ability to parent, your mothering? What was different that you noticed with your second
Actually, it's extremely different. It's night and day.
one?
So
Yeah.
with like, for example, Nova was just chill. So I felt like I'm like, this is heaven. Like she barely cried. She only really
And this is your
wanted me
first,
when I was
right?
nursing. My 1st. Mm-hmm.
And
Nova's
that's
my
the
first.
trick. The first one is gonna be easy.
Yep.
That's the trick. Mine was the same way.
Yep. I knew how to lay her down. I knew how to make her relax. Oh, they calling me to come in.
Look, they
I
like,
knew
come
how
on,
to.
they looking at the
Yep.
clock.
Yes, that's so funny. That I knew how to get her squared away. You know, that second one opened up a whole different type of patience that I didn't even know that it was required for motherhood. Like it was just really, really different. Like it was even now, like 3 years in, like parenting her is completely different. She's not a gentle kid, so I can't gentle parent her. You know what I mean? Like I had to
Oh
really
yes.
I had to look at her one day and was like, listen, yes, mommy, this is G code over here. Okay. Like you don't want to meet this person. Like why?
It's
Why?
something about the second ones.
Why?
Like they just no limit soldiers. Like they just come out ready for
Them
war.
second
It's just
one, them pandemic babies is no joke.
no, seriously.
I wonder. I can't be the only person that's going through this. Like
Oh, you're not
I'm like,
alone.
she better.
I'm right here with you. They ready.
That second one better do something powerful. You hear me? I need to
Oh,
be walking
I
in the
told her
White
she gonna
House or
be a
somewhere like.
UFC fighter or something. I don't know what because she just wake up like ready. Like just like, but
I don't get it.
on another note though, how do you juggle all of your hats? Being a mother, being a wife, still having time for your self-care and your mental health. How are you juggling that for somebody that may be looking at you and watching us and like, I'm barely even making it with just being a mom and having a 9 to 5 and having all of the different hats that you have. How are you juggling everything?
Um, get put down quick fast. But I juggle and I manage with my team, and I don't do everything by myself. I ask for help 24/7. So I have my husband. Like I said, I have my best friend. I have two assistants now, who are like my little sisters. Um, try to make sure that like I am doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing, but I definitely now delegate and I definitely find a balance. Sleep sometimes might be the last thing, but I'm mapping stuff out. I think we talked about this before about how we just write everything out. So I literally write every day, all day. Like I wake up at 4:45 a.m. every morning. I make sure that I take like an hour for myself. So that's my coffee. If that's me catching up on some TikToks, decompressing, whatever the case may be for that moment, then I'm writing out everything that I need to do or needs to get accomplished or what can go on the back burner for that Wednesday or Thursday. But that Monday and Tuesday is literally allocating, doing what I need to do and finding that training, that balance. Now I'm been meal prepping because I really not fancy and eating out too tough. So like I've been trying to do that on like Sundays. Yeah, you just gotta find a balance. But for me, it's just you gotta get up early.
Yeah.
Early and try to get in bed by 9, really, in order for you to get your day done.
Now, you were not always an entrepreneur. What were you doing before you decided to take a leap of faith and just say, you know what, I'm gonna work for myself by myself?
Yeah, I was doing human resources for 2 companies here in Columbia.
Yeah. And we don't have to say their names, but are they prestigious? Like, do people know who these companies are? Like, are they well-known companies?
Yeah, you will know. But I realized that because a lot of people, they didn't look like me. There was only a few of us, and nothing was getting done. I felt like we were being railroaded for positions. I felt like, to the point where you're lying on me and other people that look like me for you to get, like, it was a lot. It was heavy. Yeah. And so one day I was sitting talking to my husband, and he was like, well, if you don't want to work there, quit. He was like, you can start your own business. I was like, well, damn, I sure can. Why the hell not? So I went to work with the BS. I typed up my beautiful resignation. 2 days later, I had my LLCs and I was ready to start my businesses and get other businesses on the up and up, make Black businesses thrive the same way these Fortune 500 companies are thriving because they have systems in place that, are accessible resources for us. We're not privy to it or how to get it started. So that's how I started with project management and human resources for small businesses and striking iron. I believe iron sharpens iron. And that's how that all came about. And I've been a serial entrepreneur ever since.
Oh man. Yeah. Looking back on your whole story, your whole journey, what do you think it has taught you about yourself? What do you think that everything that you went through
Am I there? Okay.
Yeah, has taught you about yourself?
I'm a badass bitch. No, I'm joking.
Go ahead, girl.
No, I'm really, really resilient. I feel like everything that I've been through, all the negative stuff, all of the traumatic stuff, all the stuff that wasn't supposed to, that was supposed to keep me in the hood, keep me destitute, keep me down. I feel like me being able to fight on my own 2 feet, do it so brilliantly and stay as safe as possible.
Right.
I feel like that has made me a stellar individual. I really am proud of the woman that I am today because I listen to my gut. I listen to my instinct. I believe in myself enough and I put forth the effort to do it. And I believe that anybody can.
Almost definitely. Now, before I let you go, y'all, if you're watching this, y'all know I love games. So I'm going to hit everybody that I interview with a game. Now, the game that I have for you, Ashlee, is Tell Me or Don't Tell Me. And we're talking about pillow talk. Now, like I said, pillow talk is usually with you and your partner before you go to bed, right? And you talk about your hopes and your dreams and all other kind of stuff. So the game is Tell Me or Don't Tell Me. Do you want your partner to tell you or don't tell you, okay? And so number one, what you like about me. So that would be you. Do you want your partner to tell you what they like about you?
Yeah,
is that tell or don't tell? Okay. What about what you don't like about me?
Tell me.
Okay, why would you want to know?
Because I feel like either I'm gonna get better at it, or at least I know if I'm doing it, you don't like it.
Okay. Past sexual experiences, and those will be his past sexual experiences.
Don't tell me. They ain't out of my
Fantasies.
business. Tell me.
Fantasies. Okay. Stressful experiences throughout the day.
Tell me.
Yeah. Future goals.
Tell me.
Fears.
Tell me.
And what about insecurities?
Tell me.
Yeah. All right. If you had one word that best described who you are as a person, and this is so hard, but I just love hitting people with it. What is one word that you feel like describes who you are?
Fun.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one. Well, Ashlee, I want to thank you so much for being so transparent. And we have took it all the way back, broke it down like a pound.
I need to call my therapist.
And
I
brought
need to
that
call
mug back
Shauna right
around.
now. I need to call her and Ashley. We need to talk
And
about
look, I'm over here drinking.
post-traumatic.
I'm like, ooh, girl. I'm like, but
Go
seriously.
deep with it either.
And I
Oh
have
my God.
enjoyed every step of the way. Like, seriously, I hope that this video not only resonates with somebody, but motivates them that, yeah, you can be a boss with babies. You can have your own journey. It doesn't have to break you. It can make you and mold you into who you are supposed to be. We all have our purpose, and none of them will look the same, you know? So if you can let the people know where to follow you, let us know any kind of upcoming events or anything that you have.
So a lot of events are coming up for 2024. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Ashlee Gigi White, ASHLEEGIGI White. Or you can go to Striking Iron SC on Instagram as well, and it'll pull up all my handles. But we do have a lot of projects underway. Some things going on in February. And then I will be putting the flyers out, and I'll definitely send that to you, Catrice. And then the Black Expo for Columbia will be May 17th and 18th here in Columbia, South Carolina. So if you would like to be a vendor, hit me up, and I will do my best to get you some good discounts at the moment. But I want to see all of Columbia there.
Most definitely. Yes. And I'm also going to link all of her social media accounts down below in this video. Y'all make sure that y'all like, comment, and subscribe. I'm sure this is not the last we're going to see from Ashlee, y'all, because she, like she said, fun. That literally describes who she is. And I've always called her like, girl, I got this, I got this idea, I got this idea. And so my mind is always turning when it comes to her. She's just a dope individual. And I thank you so much for being here and just allow me to hear your story.
I think you're a dope individual.
Thank you, girl.
Yes, I truly think that you're a dope individual. I love that you're doing this. I feel like it's gonna go far. Please invite me back on again, and we can have some discussion around some of these things. Because you hit on a lot that is just like, whew, like it was some life-changing things. So I appreciate it. Things that I hadn't thought about in ages. So I'm grateful for that. And I can't wait to see what you do next.